Welcome to the Lovecraft Tapes podcast. I am Lupine Vendetta, and tonight I'll be playing a super spooky solo RPG because I love the woods. I fear the woods, but I can't stay away from the woods. It's called Carved by the Garden by Cassie Mothwin. And let's begin, shall we? Alright, so to play, you will need a standard deck of cards with the jokers. And I am using these cards that I got for a holiday. Here, wait. You can't see them. Can you see them now? Is that working? I don't know if you can see them. Oh, wait. Not really. Okay. Well, they're fancy. They're Stargazer Observatory cards. And you've got to use the joke. It says jokers in the pack. So here, let me show you. See if you can see a joker. Ooh, fun. Okay. So, you also need a 6-sided die. I'm actually going to use these really cool bullet dice that I got from Odd Duck Dice. And they're 6 sides. I don't know if you can see. They've got little pips on them. And you need 8 small pieces of nature to act as tokens. We're just not going to do that part because I forgot to go gather leaves this morning. And you're supposed to have a tumbling block tower. I'm not going to do that because A, I don't have one, and B, I'm doing this at my desk and I don't really have room for things to fall over. And then something to write in is the last part. So I have my handy dandy notebook with our lovely Beyond Peril fish on it. All right. So here we go. Oh, I should probably shuffle these cards first, which I'm going to do. Here, enjoy the ASMR of shuffling cards. Hold on. There's a few cards in the back that have the back design on both sides, and I'm not sure why, but okay. So I'm going to shuffle the cards here. Here's some ASMR for you. And I don't know if you know, but you're supposed to shuffle cards 7 times. And then they're considered all the way shuffled. So that's 2. Ah! That was shuffled. No one saw anything. No one did see anything. It's a secret. Nothing happened. All right. Okay. We'll just call that 7. Okay. So the first thing I want to read you is there's a little thing about safety in the front of the book. And it says, there is disturbing and upsetting content ahead. This game includes themes of fear, isolation, suspense, despair, violence, self-harm, claustrophobia, drowning, fire, stalking, gaslighting, allusions to cannibalism, snakes, insects, birds, spiders, body horror, suicide, abuse, lust, light sexual themes, and death. There isn't explicit child death or tortured animals, but the prompt may hint at these themes. Read and play with caution. Remember that you can change, ignore, rewrite, or abandon at any part of this game that you want. So with that said, I'm going to avoid, I think, harm to animals, because that really icks me out. I don't like forced medical procedures. Pretty much everything is okay. So, especially the allusions to cannibalism. Okay. And as I said, it's optional to use a tumbling dice tower if you want, or a tumbling block tower, so like Jenga or whatever. I am not going to do so. So I'm just going to ignore those prompts. Okay. So, the situation. Those you live with are worried for you. Every day you wander into the woods. Alone. When you return at dusk, a wild shadow lingers in your steps. Those you live with wish to stop you, but their efforts have proved useless. You always find a way or a reason to return to the woods. Those you live with offer a compromise. They ask you to journal each day about your experiences. Those you live with promise they won't read your journal unless there is a night you don't come home. They beg you to be honest in your journal. You agree. But you wonder if they'll believe what they read. Carved in the Garden is a structured journaling game where you document your character's likely last days in the nearby woods. You love the woods. You fear the woods. You get the sense your unchaperoned visits to the wild are nearing an end. You must make the most of the time you have left. During the game, you roll a die, draw cards from a deck, and read their associated events. Pull blocks from a tumbling tower, which we discussed I'm not going to do. Place or remove tokens from a card, and write about your experiences and character. The woods are vast and mostly unmapped. Some landmarks exist in the minds of locals, but interestingly enough, no one can agree exactly where to find them. History and legends about the woods differ from person to person, religion to a religion, and evidence to evidence. As soon as researchers feel like they've unlocked a path to the past, additional resources reveal their proposed truths to be inaccurate. My character is human, for now. I reside at the back of a dead-end road in the middle of the woods. I share my home with people who care about me, but they're afraid of what I get up to in the woods. They know they can't control or stop me, but they don't want to lose me. So, you are a mud child, a wild woman, a dangerous man, a creature of the branches. I like that part. Answer these questions about your character. In addition to coming up with your name, pronouns, and time period, answer these questions before you start the game. So, for name, I think I'm going to be totally boring and use this handy dandy little fantasy name generator because I'm super boring. Let's see, real names. Let's go with Celtic Scottish names. And my pronouns are she, her, because my pronouns are she, her, and I just feel the most comfortable using those pronouns. So let's go with Moira McClanahan. All right, so Moira McClanahan, my pronouns are she, her, and I'm going to say that this is probably in the 19th century, so a while ago, in the British Isles. So, the questions are, what draws you to the woods each day? I think Moira is a hedge witch, or she's training to become a hedge witch. So she goes to the woods each day to gather ingredients. Who do you live with? I would say I live with my teacher. Why do they wish you'd stop visiting the woods? That's a difficult one. Okay, maybe I don't live with my teacher. I live with my family, and they don't want me to become a hedge witch. So they wish I'd stop visiting the woods. What would you do if you didn't go into the woods? I don't know. Probably get married. Because that's, that time period. What do you fear in the woods? I think I fear getting lost the most. Okay. So now, alternative reasons for your character to visit the woods. No, never mind. I don't need to read those because I already want to visit the woods. I love the woods after all. And they love me. Alright, so how to play. First, you roll the die once and pull the number of blocks. That's the block tower. Again, not doing that. But it represents that your connection to the woods is already starting to sever. The game is divided into days you walk in the woods. Each day has 2 phases, the events and the journal. During the events, you roll your 6-sided die, use the result, and draw that number of cards, placing the face down. The deck of cards is divided into 4 categories. Consult the tables each time you flip a card to determine what you've done and what you'll do next. Hearts are bonds. Your roots go deep. But would they die for you? Diamonds are supernatural. It's addictive. You cannot take magic with you. Clubs are factions. Not everyone gets along. You knew this was never a paradise. Spades are earth. We all come from the dirt. Nourishing. Suffocating. Everything you encounter is real. The shadows, the creatures, the inexplicable. This game takes place during the day, with you returning home each night. But the bright light and shifting branches make it easy for horrors to blend in with the wilderness. You can only assume it becomes so much worse at night. Don't miss your curfew. If at any time you feel your character has seen enough and has been swayed to stay away from the woods, turn to the Severed Ties section. I personally don't know how that could happen because I really like the woods. Hold on a sec, sorry. I'm gonna try something. Because looking at my own face is actually really distracting. So here. Okay. That's better. The Friends Day were the treasures we made along the way. Huh? I'm worried, Matt. Into the woods, into the woods, into the woods. Yeah, I'm gonna go find my cow. There are 2 endings available to you at the start of the game. You may unlock more paths as you play. If the tower falls, you are abandoned on page 35. If your character decides to stay out of the woods, you have severed ties on page 35. But also, you could get subsumed by the woods. And this is... I am not trading for your magic beans, Matt. Don't... No, just not. Sorry, I think I skipped something. Yes. Step 1, the events. Okay, flip over the first card. Sorry, going back to The events part of the day. Roll your 6-sided die. Use the result. Draw that number of cards, placing them face down. Flip over the first card and find its prompt in the table section. Complete any task that the card tells you to do. Continue flipping over the cards until you have flipped them all over. Discard all cards unless instructed otherwise. Okay, step 2, the journal. You return home before dusk every day and record your experiences in a journal. Write about what happened and what you feel, answering the questions presented in the card prompts. You don't have to answer the questions if they don't feel relevant, and the events don't have to happen in the order you draw the cards. If you like, you can use the alternative to a journal, such as voice or video recording, narrating out loud, or simply imagining the scenario in your head. I think it makes the most sense for me to narrate it out loud, so that all of you can hear what's going on in my screwed up little brain. Think about who is asking you to record this journal. They claim it is for your own safety. Do you believe them? Day 1. Dear caregiver's parents, spouse, roommate, supervisor, partner, etc. Dear parents, you've asked that I record my daily activities in the woods. You're afraid I might be kidnapped, get lost, or worse. You promised not to read this diary and only to use it should I not come home by the sundown. I agree that the woods are dangerous, but I know how to stay safe. I love the woods, and they love me. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, you'll start the game with day 2. All of their journal entries should begin with day number to keep a recording of the game's progression. I am going to keep like a tally of what day it is. So, I have to go. Okay, so we're starting on day 2. Losing your connection to the woods is the most likely outcome of the game. If the tumbling tower falls before the woods adopt you, turn to the abandoned section on page 35. Blah, blah. All right. Yeah, so I read the part about the suits being different. Hearts being bonds, diamonds are supernatural, clubs are factions, and spades are earth. Okay. Okay, and so these are all the cards. So let's begin. So first I roll my d6, and I got a 3. So I'm going to pick 3 cards and put them face down. And then I'm going to flip them over one by one. So, the first card I got is the Ace of Hearts. So, hearts, remember, are bonds. There are many bonds that take you to the woods each day. Sometimes you find the owner of a bond, sometimes you don't. Still, every day you look. You're most beautiful when you bleed. The Ace of Hearts. The woods leave their mark on you. How does it manifest? See page 39. Do you feel the beatings of antlers, skin tough as bark, venom along your lips, claws on your fingertips, a craving for blood? Do not discard this card. Put it to the side. At the end of each day, after writing in your journal, roll a 6-sided die. On a result of 4 or higher, add a piece of nature token to the card. Each piece of nature represents a new mark the wood leaves on you. Describe how it manifests. When you've collected 8 pieces of nature, make a final pull from the tower. If the tower stands, your bond to the woods is solid and fixed. You could never leave. Turn to the carved one ending on page 36. If the tower falls, your connection is strong, but not strong enough. Turn to the rejected ending on page 36. So I already might be accepted by the woods. Yay! Okay. What am I going to use for tokens? Well, let's see. I mean, I have a lot of dice, so I could use those. Yeah, I'm going to use that for now. Okay. So let's see. I have 6 of these D6s, so I'll use one of each. I'll use 5 of them because I still need one of them, right? And then, let's see. I need 3 more, so I can use these 3. I don't know if you can see them. Hold on a sec. Let me see if I can. Yep, you can see them. Okay. And then the last one is this guy. All right. So I'll put those on the cards if I need tokens. Okay. Okay. So, but today, I think, it does not, at the end of each day. So at the end of this day, I can possibly get my first token. All right. Hold on a sec. Let me see. So this is, she suggests, so the writer of this game, Cassie Mothwin, suggests some tumbling dice, some alternatives for the tumbling dice tower. So I'm going to try this one. It's a snapshark.itch.io/A1 roller. Oops, I forgot a letter there. Okay. That's the another Wretched and Alone roller. Yeah, I really wish that I'd gotten this printed out, but I kickstarted this, and of course I have no money, so I kickstarted the digital files, which is great, but it means, oh, beans. I don't have any beans though, unfortunately. That's a good idea though. I have to keep that in mind for like next time. So all right, so the next one I'm going to do, I'm going to pull my next card. My next card is the 8 of diamonds. I don't know if you can see that. So let me look in tables. In hearts. Here, 8 of diamonds. Okay, an inexplicable headache. Oh, that's very me. An inexplicable headache robbed you of your faculties, and you collapsed on the ground. As you endured the pain, the sounds of chanting surrounded you. Bow to the old gods. Provide for the old gods. Why did you find a knife covered with blood in your hands? Have you ever enjoyed the comforts of violence? Keep this card. Oh, look, another card that I get to keep. Keep this card. The next time you're told to pull from the tower, discard this card instead. That's interesting. Okay. So, thank you, Ko-Fi Bot. Okay. Okay. So I'm keeping that one as well. And then the last card I had to draw today was... Oh, look, it's the 9 of diamonds. So let's see. And of course I put that back in the pile so I don't have it immediately. There it is. 9 of diamonds. Okay. You've been having nightmares depicting your loved ones dangling from burning trees. As you walked, you heard buzzing and discovered several large hornets' nests in the shape of bodies above you. The hornets fixated on you, hovering in one place. Why does part of you think your loved ones deserve to burn? What do the hornets see that others can't? Keep this card. Are you kidding? I'm keeping all of them. Okay. The next time you're told to pull from the tower, discard this card instead. Wow. Okay then. So, the 8 of diamonds and the 9 of diamonds, maybe I didn't do as great a job shuffling as I wanted to. I'm keeping, and the Ace of Hearts, I'm keeping, but at the end of the day, I have to roll the d6. And hold on, let me see. Okay. Oh, I have to do the Ace of Hearts part first. So the woods leave their mark on you. How does it manifest? So do you feel the beatings of antlers? Skin tough as bark, venom along your lips, claws on your fingertips, a craving for blood? Okay. So let's see. It says, see page 39. I'm not sure what page that is. Okay, so I am just going to make them up because I can do that. Okay. So, what do I think? What kind of mark do I think the woods leave on me? I think my skin becomes dappled, the color of the mark of fire. Maybe my skin looks like it has flames on it. It looks like it has the dapples of sunlight that come through the trees. And you start to see the sort of wavy patterns of the light through the leaves on my skin. It looks a little bit like I was underwater and someone dropped a stone in and the ripples somehow transferred to my skin and they look like the dapples of sunlight through the trees. Okay, I like that. What do you think? What do you think, Justin? Is that acceptable? All right. Do. All right. So, at the end of the day, I roll a d6. So here I go. Rolling a d6. Now, if I get 4, 5, or 6, I get a token of nature. And I got a 1, so I do not get a token. On a result of 4 or higher, add a piece of nature token. When you've collected 8 pieces, make a final pull from the tower. Okay. So I did not get one. Because apparently the woods do not feel like they've gotten me enough. I don't know. They don't feel like they've taken over my soul yet enough? I don't know. I'm a wild child. All right. So that was the end of day 2. So here, I'm going to write down what I got for cards on day 2. I got the Ace of Hearts. Just drew a really bad heart. I got the 8 of Diamonds. And the 9 of Diamonds. All right. And the 8 and the 9 I can discard instead of, instead of pulling from the tower, which I'm sort of not doing. And the Ace of Hearts, I'm going to try to be subsumed by the forest. Okay. So, now we're on to day 3. All right. What do I do in the forest today? Right? They can't afford one. They've got to steal mine. All right. 6. Let's go, baby. All right. So here we go. I'm going to shuffle again because I realized that I didn't shuffle well enough the first time. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. My first card is the 8 of Hearts. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. All right. So let's look at the 8 of Hearts. Here we go. The 8 of Hearts. There are many abandoned tools in the woods, and today you found an axe stuck in a tree stump covered in sap. When you pulled out the axe, it pulsed softly in your hands, because that's normal. Yeah. What is the axe hungry for? If you feed it, what does it give you as a reward? Pull from the tower. All right. And because it said, I'm going to put a discard pile over here. Because it said I can discard one of these. I don't know how eating an axe will do, but if there's mold on the axe, I'll eat that. Because it said I can discard one of these things I got from the first day instead of pulling from the tower, I'm going to do that. So there's that. Okay. Oh, I forgot. You could do it this way. Okay, I'm going to do it this way. So it says, if you'd rather run a tally instead of pulling from the tower, do that. And every time you're instructed to pull from the tower, mark a tally. And once you reach 20, the game ends. So we're going to do it that way, because that's just easier. All right. So that was one time. I wonder if, because I used a card instead of pulling from the tower. If I count, I'm going to count it. Okay, so my next card is the Seven of Hearts. Ah! Okay. Okay. The pile of dolls, red flag, in the middle of the woods didn't make sense. The dolls were all made of corn husks and twine and piled as high as you're tall. Did you keep any of the dolls? Fuck no. How many of them look like you? I think, even though they're corn husk and twine, so they don't really look like anything, I think they all look like me. And it says to pull from the tower. Okay, so now I'm going to use my other one. Oops. Yeah. To pull it instead of pulling the tower. So, actually, I'm not going to count that because I don't think that's pulling from the tower. Okay. So, now we go on to the next one. The Seven of Clubs. Okay. Do. There's the spades. There's the diamonds. Here's the clubs. 7 clubs. Okay. You pass through an abandoned orchard where fruit trees grow in perfect rows. The tree bark oozes black sap. And rotting fruit often falls in grotesque wet thuds. Thud. Are the trees sick or adapting? Who planted the trees? I think they are trying to adapt, but they can't, so they've become sick. And who planted the trees? Was this forest like a long time ago? It was land owned by another people, cultivated by another people, and they planted farms and trees, or farms and orchards and stuff. And now everything is overgrown. I like that idea. Okay, pull from the tower. So this is going to be my first pull. All right. Let's see. My next card is the Seven of Spades. Okay. Yeah. All right. You found a well with a soft glow coming from within. And it overwhelmed you with its sweet scent. You hauled up a bucket of pure honey. Because honey comes from wells, doesn't it? Right? When you made your way down... No, wait, sorry. Wrong one. You hauled up a bucket of pure honey and an amber stickiness dripped between your fingers, your legs, and your lips. Oh my. Did I put it somewhere? How can such a pure thing survive in the wild? Is it something to share or devour? Well, here's where I go science nerd, because honey is not actually pure. Honey has, I don't know if you know about botulism, but it's a toxin that comes from botulinum, bacteria, and it's the most toxic substance known to humans. It'll kill a full-grown man in like 5 seconds or something like that. And the reason they tell you not to feed honey to kids under 1 year of age is because it has a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of botulism toxin in it that our immune systems can deal with. Our meaning adults and kids over 1 year of age. But little kids don't have the immune system yet to deal with it. And so that botulism toxin is actually dangerous to them. So, how can such a pure thing survive in the wild? I think that it is sort of a meeting of the pure and the impure, because we think of honey as pure, it's basically pure sugar. And so we think of honey as pure, but at the same time, it is the woods and the wilds inserting themselves into the purity that we've seen, or that we find. Is it something to share or devour? Oh, hell no, I ain't even giving you any of my honey. This is my honey, so I'm going to eat that honey. And it'll keep me going. Yes, Justin, I said insert. All right, next card. Oh, sorry, that was a pull from the tower. That is my second pull. Okay, next card is 4 of Spades. Okay. All right. You walked up on a group of women sitting in a circle, embroidering a round tapestry shared amongst them. They ushered you over to admire their work. One woman said, "The thread of life is always measured before it's cut." Then she pointed to a section of the tapestry. What brief glimpse into the future does the tapestry give you? Do you wish you could change it? Look at the next card on the deck and read the first sentence or two of its corresponding prompt. Once finished, put this card back on top of the deck. So when it says put this card back on top of the deck, does that mean I get it every single time? Ooh. I like that suggestion. So I could be, is this your teacher? So I could be finding my teacher, embroidering in, maybe I'm just trying to learn everything by myself, being taught by the woods. And now I've found this creature of the woods, because I have to assume that random women sitting in an embroidery circle in the woods aren't actually human, because that would be weird. Maybe they're fungus people. Yeah, I like that. So maybe it's my teacher. I like that. Thank you, Fudgy them. Fudgy. Do you want me to go with Fudgy? Fudgy sounds good. Yes, Justin. I said wood. Sigh. All right. Okay, fudgy's good. All right. I'm gonna slap you upside the head, Justin. Thank you, Matt. Okay. So does this mean that I put it back on top of the deck and so I'm drawing it every single time? And what does looking at the next card do for me? Like, what is the point of looking at the next card? Because I can't avoid it. I can't do anything to, like, stop it from going off. I think I'm not gonna put it back on top of the deck. I'm just gonna put it back into the deck. So I could get it or I could not. But I will look at the next card. So the next card for tomorrow is the 6 of Spades. And as you walked along a ravine, you heard shouts for help from below. And that's all I'm supposed to read. So I'm not supposed to read the whole thing. So I guess possibly it could change what I do with this next card. So my last card for today, the Ace of Spades. All right, so let's look. Ace of Spades. You found the ruins of an abandoned house. It's filled with dust, cobwebs, rotting furniture, and waterlogged books. Aw, poor books. You were surprised to find a small flame in the hearth of the fireplace, with fragments from your journal used as kindling. Why is this crumbling building better than your current home? What pages from your journal have been burned? How do you think the pages got here? Decide which of your journal entries you find burned and cross them out in your journal. If you had the Ace of Hearts, add 2 pieces of danger to it. Oh! Okay then. So that's 2 pieces of nature down. So apparently the Ace of Spades is really awesome. I mean, I knew that, but yeah. So what pages... So how is this better than my current home? I don't know. I feel like I belong in the forest. I think the reason that I go into the forest all the time is because I feel like I don't really belong in the world of humans. And so this home is surrounded and basically being embraced by the forest. So that's why it would be better than the one that I currently live in. What pages from your journal have been burned? I don't have that many journal pages right now. So, but how do I think they got here? Did something follow me back? I think something my interpretation of the second day to put into the fireplace. Now, boys, be civil to each other. No fighting, no biting, as my grandmother says. Decide which of your journal entries you find burned and cross them out. Okay, so the only one I have is day 2. So now this is day 3. If you have the Ace of Hearts, add 2 pieces of nature to it. Okay, so I did that. I know he did. But you can be the bigger person, Matt. Alright. So now I'm going to do the end of day thing. The end of day 3 thing. And roll a d6. And I got a 2 again, so I don't add a piece of nature. Alright. Sorry, I'm just getting this back together. Okay. So now, day 4. Okay. So I roll a d6. And I get 2 again. So these are my 2 cards for today. It's a short day in the forest. It was a long day yesterday because I got that honey. Alright. My first card for today is the 6 of Spades. Okay, so I look for the 6 of Spades. There's the King of Spades. The Queen of Spades. 2, 3, 4, 5. Ha. I can count. Go me. Okay, the 6 of Spades. Oh, right, this is the one I looked at. As you walk along a ravine, you heard shouts for help from above. Or below. Sorry. It looked like someone was stuck under a fallen tree. When you made your way down, you found a large rotten log and a cracked skull covered in moss. Why does this place seem familiar? Are you more likely to be an assailant or a victim? Ooh. That's interesting. So why does this place seem familiar? I think I fell down something like this before. So I fell down a little embankment and I was at the bottom and you know when you don't fully twist your ankle, but you just kind of tweak it a little bit and you gotta like walk it off. That's what happened. But apparently this person got stuck under a log and died. And am I more likely to be an assailant or a victim? Well, I think I'm more likely to be an assailant, actually. Because if it gives me a choice between those 2 things, I'm clearly not the victim. True that. Also, always attack. Always. If I'm given a choice between those 2 things, I'm clearly not a victim because I got up and walked away. So I think I'm more likely to be an assailant. What do you think? Does that make sense? Justin, what do you think? Alright, I'm going to look at my last one. That one did not say to pull from the tower, by the way. Alright, so I look at my last one. It is the Jack of Spades. All right. So here I go to the Jack of Spades. Okay. When you saw the garden of honeysuckle, wisteria, and jasmine, that's gotta smell delightful. Growing in organized rows, it gave you pause. The vibrant flowers were all in bloom, forming tall arches stabilized by rotting human arms emerging from the ground. Everything is fine. Everything is totally fine. The hands were ghoulish and didn't move. Well, I'd hope they didn't move. What kind of support have you provided the woods? What would make your death powerful? Pull from the tower. Well, I've supported the woods by telling everyone I meet about it. I think in my daily life, I have told everyone of the wonders of the woods. And that's why my parents started getting nervous. And what would make my death powerful? I think my death would be powerful if I... Okay, so this is going to sound a little weird, but I think my death would be powerful if I died somewhere in the forest, because then my body would become part of the forest and be used to, like, power things, if that makes sense. It would be used as food for the plants in the forest, and eventually possibly the animals, although I haven't seen any animals yet. So I think being powerful is actually being part of something. All right, pull from the tower. So that's my third pull. And it is the end of the day. So now I roll a die. And remember, 4, 5, 6 is the number we're looking for, because I want to be part of this forest, baby! Yes! Did it. Okay. Got a 6. So I'm going to add another token to that Ace of Hearts. And now I've got 3. Alright, so next day, day 5. I'm going to roll a d6. And I got 1. The very short day in the woods. Got 1 card. And it is the 10 of Spades. Alright, so I look for the... There it is. Alright. You came upon an abandoned but new shovel in a knee-deep hole. You were compelled to take it and continue the work. You kept shoveling even as sweat made your eyes sting. Now I know why the day's short. What did your shovel hit that made you stop digging? Whose grave did you imagine yourself digging? So I think my shovel hit the foundation of the old house that used to stand here. Because people made their lives here, but the forest took it back. And so the grave I think I was digging is that I I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna try not to go too like doom and gloom. But I think the grave is uh again very, very abstract. Hubris. I think the grave is hubris. So the hubris I'm talking about is the hubris of humans like cutting down forests to make their own homes. And so it's highly symbolic because obviously I can't bury everyone in here. But we have to learn to live with the forest in order to live at all, if that makes sense. And instead, what we're doing is clearing the forest and getting rid of it. And so I'm digging the grave of... So I guess if you wanted to say I was digging the grave of humanity, you could say that. I'm digging the grave of humanity, but I'm digging the grave of hubris. I'm digging the grave of human encroachment into wild places. I want to see you through all the... No, you know what? You get to dig that grave, because that's a big-ass grave, sir. Big-ass grave. Alright, so now we're doing the token bit. So I roll a d6, and I get a 6! So I get another token! Woo! Okay, so that is 4. So I'm halfway there. Oh, living up air. Yeah. Now, day 6. My handwriting is getting worse as I go on. Yeah. So I roll a d6. Yeah, like that. I would love to bring the forest, the shambling forest eldritch beings. What? Definitely not. Wait, what am I doing? Oh, right. I'm rolling a d6. Ooh, 6. No, I'm not running from a bear. I'm running from actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So here we go. My first card for today is the Ace of Clubs. Hold on. I forgot what I was doing first. Okay, so here we go. That's not it. That's not it. Oh, okay, here it is. Okay, remember clubs as factions. Many groups make their home here. Best not to take sides. You are merely a trespasser. I don't have this book formatted, so I think a lot of these are like together when they are not supposed to be. Like they should be on like separate pages and stuff. Anyway, I think I'm gonna get this book because I like it. Okay, Ace of Clubs. You dreamt the woods spoke to you, but you didn't understand the language. Aw, shucks. When you woke, you found a paper in your hand with ritual instructions. Collect the raw tongues of a bird, frog, salamander, and a rabbit. Once collected, chew them up in front of a tree painted with your blood and spit at its roots. What happens if you perform the ritual? How did the instructions find their way into your hand? If you've already drawn the King of Clubs, I don't think I have. Nope. Shove it back into the die. Then discard this card. Okay, so when you woke, you found a paper in your hand with ritual instructions. Collect the raw tongues of bird, frog, salamander, and a rabbit. Then chew them up in front of a tree painted with your blood and spit at its roots. Don't worry, it's not a gut. It's not a goose. I'm gonna go find a lark tongue. Or wren or something. Cobra chicken. What would that look like? Is that just a chicken with like a big hood? All right. What happens if you perform the ritual? Well, I think this ritual is to beseech the forest to take me. Yes, because the tongues of the bird, frog, salamander, and rabbit all ask of the forest that they might become part of it. And so I have collected these tongues, which is no small task, and painted a tree with my blood and spit the chewed up tongues at its roots. So what I'm doing is I'm asking the forest in a language that I hope the forest might understand, to make me part of it. How did these instructions find their way into your hand? I think whatever it was, I'm not even speculating on what it was, but the thing that followed me back that first day or the second day, the one that got my journal page, I think that whatever it was left the instructions in my hand. And then it specifies about the King of Clubs, but I don't have the King of Clubs yet. All right, so my next card today is the Jack of Diamonds. Okay. Looking for the diamonds. It goes hearts, diamonds, clubs, spades. Yes, here we go. Here it is. Okay. So from one of the few scenic cliffs, you see large trees move in the distance, as if they had stood up and decided to root elsewhere. Their roots ripped from the ground and their branches cracked in a horribly loud cacophony. Why do you feel like you're being watched? Are the trees trying to show you something or keep you from discovering more? Search your deck for a joker and move the first one you find to the top. Okay, so I think I'm being watched. Like, this makes me think that I'm being watched by the actual trees. No, I don't think I'm being watched by the trees. I think I'm being watched by oh shit, I think I'm being watched by the squirrels in the trees. And they're commanding the trees to move to try to trip me up so I can never know my way. Right? So, like, if you're trying to find your way through a maze, but the passages keep changing, then you're never going to find your way through. Okay, so they're trying to keep me from discovering more, basically. So find a joker. There we go. There's Joker. Okay, move it to the top of your deck. So I'm gonna draw a Joker next time, tomorrow. And now for the next card for today is the Two of Diamonds. All right. Here we go. Okay, so the Two of Diamonds. You discovered a full-length... I totally read that fast and thought it said movie. A full-length movie. And Jeremy, you can be thankful that I didn't find a full-length movie in the woods. But I found a full-length mirror leaning against a tree. It reflected the woods accurately, but your reflection was wrong. In what way does the mirror's image show your greatest desire? What are you willing to give up for it to become reality? Keep this card. The next time you're told to pull from the tower, discard this card instead. Okay. Right? It feels very Snow White. Okay. So, in what way does the mirror's image show your greatest desire? Well, I guess to decide that, I have to decide what Moira's greatest desire is. Moira's greatest desire is... Moira's greatest desire is to be... Right? Right? The mirror, Ara said. Moira's greatest desire is to become part of the woods. So I think that it actually... you can only see Moira in the mirror if she moves. Because it's sort of like a mix of camouflage. You can't even tell if it's camouflage or if she's actually, like, transparent. Or translucent, at least. She's looking in the mirror, and she doesn't really see herself if she stands still. And that is what she desires the most. She desires to be part of the forest. You could see the trees through her. All right, and this is a... This is one that stopped me from pulling from the tower, which is nice. Okay. So keep that. Then my next card for today is the Five of Spades. Okay. So let's see. Five of Spades. Okay. Stacked in the middle of a dried up pond, you spotted dozens, if not hundreds, of sun-bleached turtle shells. You could tell the shells had been stacked around something, and closer investigation revealed a huge hatched egg covered in blood that emitted a putrid smell. What creature could have made this? Who have you failed to protect? And you're supposed to pull from the tower. So, what creature... I interpret this as what creature laid an egg that attracted the turtles and then killed them. uh, I hmm. I think actually I think that's enough of a description by itself. Just a creature that laid an egg that attracted the turtles and then killed them. Let me see. Dozens, if not hundreds. Yeah. So I think I'm not even going to go into what the creature is. I'm just going to say that there's such a creature out there. Who have I failed to protect? I think I have failed to protect my family. Oh God. No. Please, gods, no. Not cats, no! I think I failed to protect my family because I wanted them to. I think especially at this point, Moira sort of sees becoming part of the forest as protection. And so she hasn't convinced her family. I haven't convinced my family to commune with the forest, to become one with the forest. And so, yeah. I think I failed to protect my family. And then you're supposed to pull from the tower, and instead I'm going to discard this 2 diamonds. Alright. Wait. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep things in order. Which I guess I don't have to, but whatever. Okay, so my next card for today is the Queen of Diamonds. Alright. So, let me see. Hearts. Nope, I went too far. Clubs. Diamonds. Okay. So, the Queen of Diamonds. The stranger surprised you, emerging from the trees and surrounding you within seconds. A man claimed he brought you a gift and told you to hold out your hands and close your eyes. Never a good idea. When you opened your eyes, the people were gone, and a sputtering, still beating heart thrummed in your hands. That's normal, right? Who were the people? Why are you tempted to take a bite of the heart? If you discard the heart, pull 2 blocks from the tower. If you honor the heart in some way, keep this card, and the next time you're told to pull from the tower, discard this card instead. They also didn't talk about what type of heart it is. Right? Getting some strangers giving me a still beating heart, totally normal. Happens all the time. Okay. So, I think this heart is the heart of a wild creature. It's not a human heart. And I think the only way I can tell is that it's too small. So, who were the people? The people... I feel like the people were hunters. I came upon some hunters. Even though no one hunts in these woods. But they were definitely, they had bows and spears and axes. They were definitely hunting. And of course I'm going to honor the heart in some way. I think I'm going to bury the heart. I'm going to bury the heart next to a tree. And I'm digging the hole with my own hands. I've got dirt under my fingernails, dirt and moss. And yeah, once it's done, I think I put some flowers on the little grave I've dug. So I'm going to honor this heart. So I get to keep this card. Okay. And now the last card for day 6. The last card for day 6 is the Two of Hearts. All right. Okay. The birds greeted you when you crossed the wood's threshold. They pecked at your hair and clothes before darting between the trees. Their songs are loud and laborious. But when they're finally gone, the wood seems too quiet. How did you befriend them? How do you think they'll betray you? Where do you find the nest meat of your hair? So normal. Very normal. Okay. So, how did I befriend them? I think I befriended them by bringing little bits of food. Because who doesn't fucking love food? Because I fucking love food. Okay. So I brought little bits of food. I befriended the birds. But I think that, and I used the birds to find my way out of the woods every day. And I think one day they're just going to not tell me how to get out. And by tell me how to get out, I mean, they're not going to sing and I'm not going to be able to follow them out. That kind of thing. It's not like I'm not picturing them talking to me or anything. But yeah, one day I think I'm not going to be able to follow them out. They're going to lead me around in circles. And this, I think, happens when I go into the woods that day. When I first step into the woods that day. And a little while later, I'm walking through a particularly dense clump of underbrush. And I pull down a branch. I mean, not pull down as in break, but pull down as in just because it's springy. And I pull down a branch, and on it, all of a sudden, I see a nest made of my hair. I like this. Okay. So now I'm going to do my token thing. So at the end of the day, roll a d6. And it is 5. So I get another token. So now I have 5 tokens on the Ace of Hearts. Remember, if I get 8, I am, subsumed by the forest. Okay? And now this is day 7. Alright, so I roll a d6, and I get, 6. I'm spending longer and longer days in the forest. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright. And my first card for today is the Jack of Hearts. So here is... Okay. So, sorry, I was reading about jokers. Here's the Jack of Hearts. Okay, after following a bubbling trail of blood, everything's fine. You found the naked body of someone you resented. A bloody symbol carved deep into their torso, pulsed with dark ooze. Why did you have such strong feelings about this person? Why do you find your bloody knife poorly hidden near the body? Pull from the tower. Well, I think this was someone who I think I was interested in this person. I wanted to be with this person. And I approached them. And I told them that I was interested and that I wanted to be with them. And they didn't... It's not that they didn't reciprocate, it's that they were considering it and they decided to go a different way. And I'm angry. So the main feeling that I have is anger towards this person. And why do you find your bloody knife poorly near the body? Well, duh. I was angry at this person. Okay, so pull from the tower. Instead of pulling from the tower, I'm going to discard the Queen of Diamonds. Alright. My next card is the Nine of Hearts. Yeah. I don't know if you can see that out. Okay. Okay, there's the... Shoot, there's the 10 of Hearts. Okay. 9 of Hearts. The hunters surprised you when they emerged silently from the trees, wet bodies of slain animals at their waist. They berated you for being in the woods, stress and frustration evident in their voices. What weapons did they carry? Why did they see you as a threat? I think they carry... When I mentioned before, I think they carry bows, like bow and arrow, and spears, and maybe some axes. And they see me as a threat because I am... They can tell that I'm becoming part of the forest. They can tell that I'm losing my soul to the forest. Because, again, souls, so expensive in this economy. We need some more... the forest can't afford to buy its own soul. It's got to steal mine. And I would gladly give the forest my soul. Alright. Next is the 10 of Diamonds. Yeah. Okay. Nope, that's spades. Why can't I find this? Here it is. Okay. The 10 of Diamonds. As you pulled your foot from the thick mud, you revealed a human face. Oh god, PETA? Each step you took revealed another face, featuring a large, toothy grins and wide eyes. They did not speak, but as you struggled to move through the mud, the faces laughed. Did you recognize any of the faces? Who have you stepped on to get what you want? Pull from the tower. Okay. So immediately I thought of, I used to ride at this barn near my college, and the horses lived in a paddock. They lived outside, like, all the time. And so you had to go get them to ride. And there is, I mean, if you've ever seen any paddock, but especially this one, the whole front of the paddock was just like knee-deep mud. Just churned up gross. And I remember being stuck in the mud and having to call for help from this woman who worked at the barn. And she was, I mean, she acted nice enough, but I could see that she was getting tired of it. And I really hated it. So, the faces that I recognize are the people who have seen me struggle and not helped me. Did you recognize any of the faces? Who have you stepped on to get what you want? I guess, I don't know, who I stepped on to get what I want. I think I've stepped on... I can't even think of anyone. We're just gonna leave that one. Pull from the tower. Okay, so this is my 4th pull. Remember, I get to 20. Tower falls. Alright, next card. Ooh, here it is. Here's my Joker. Joker! So, now I look at the Jokers. The woods have a mind of their own. The woods are unmappable, not because of the difficult terrain, but because the items within shift of their own accord. The Jokers represent this. When you first draw a Joker, discard it and reshuffle the deck you've been drawing from. I'd respond to this prompt. And the prompt is, for a moment you lost your way, but something within the darkness pulled you through the woods. Were you being summoned or were you being chased? What marker helps you figure out where you are? So I've got to put the Joker back in the deck. Whoops. And I'm going to shuffle. Here, enjoy this ASMR of shuffling cards again. While I think about, was I being summoned or was I being chased? I think I was being summoned. And what I think I was being summoned by, oh, how about this? I was being summoned by the voice of my mother. Because she was outside calling my name to come, I don't know, to dinner or something. But I was summoned by the voice of my mother. So, and that is really sort of reminiscent of change. because up to this point, I've sort of been wanting to become part of the forest. And, like, this is the first time I've sort of felt like I should go back to the world of the humans. World of the humans. I don't know. Okay. And then... yeah, that's it. Okay. So, next card is the Four of Spades. If you can't tell, spades are my favorite suit. And there's no good reason why. I just like spades. Okay. And I'm weird, I have a favorite suit. Okay, so the Four of Spades. Oh, this is the one that I've already pulled. You walked up on a group of women sitting in a circle embroidering around tapestry. They ushered you over to admire their work. One woman said, "The thread of life is always measured before it's cut." Then she pointed to a section of the tapestry. What brief glimpse into the future does the tapestry give you? Do you wish you could change it? Okay, so look at the next card in the deck. It is the Two of Clubs. And I'm supposed to read, like, a sentence or two. Okay. So the Two of Clubs says, you tumbled and rolled into a nearby pond. As you pulled yourself out, you felt the sensation of fingers pressing against your torso and legs. So now, do I wish I could change this? I'm sort of feeling like I want to go back to the humans and maybe help them be better so that the forest doesn't overrun us. The forest, we can live with it. Does that make sense? Oh, did I... oh yeah, that's the four of spades. And then I think I have to... sorry, I put it away, of course. Once finished, put the card back on top of the deck. Okay, and again, I'm not going to put it on top. Hey, Crimson, thank you for the raid. Nice to see you, Betty lady. All right. So I'm just going to put it back in. All right. And my last card for today, day 7, is the King of Spades. So here I go, looking for... there we go. Something happened and you can't go back home. Either those who live with have kicked you out, or worse. You know it isn't safe to stay in the woods at night. Where do you take shelter? What happened to where you live? Keep this card in front of you. Pull from the tower. Okay, so I've got to keep it. And if this is your 4th king, which it isn't. Okay. What happened to where I live? What do you think happened? I think that the people that I was living with, my family, decided to move away from the woods. And I didn't want to. So I can't go back to them because they're far away from the woods now. All right. And then it says pull from the tower. So that is my 5th pull out of 20. All right. So, and it's the end of the day. So I roll a d6. And I got a 4. So I'm going to put another token on my Ace of Hearts. So now I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 8. So I'm really close to being, like, subsumed by the forest, which was kind of my goal all along. Okay. But I think now Moira is lonely because her family has moved away. So she realizes that she really needs to choose between the forest and her family, her human family. Interesting. Okay. 1 short ahead in the forest. And it is the 2 of clubs. All right. 2 hearts and clubs. All right. All right, this is the one I looked at. You tumbled and rolled into a nearby pond. As you pulled yourself out, you felt the sensation of fingers pressing against your torso and legs. Once out of the water, you found swollen black leeches across your body. What does it cost you to remove the leeches? What made you fall into the pond and then pull from the tower? Okay. So, what does it cost me to remove the leeches? I think it costs me the rest of the day in the forest. So I don't get to spend the time looking for, being in the forest, looking at all the sights to see. And a little bit of pain, but probably not that much. And what made me fall into the pond? I bet I was looking elsewhere. That's a very common thing for me. I look, yeah, that one too. Oh boy, time for my monthly buff. I bet I was looking elsewhere. I was looking at one of the squirrels that's been watching me. I made eye contact. I went like this. So, squirrel, I'm watching you. I know you're watching me. Alright. Wait, sorry, I did that the wrong way. Okay. So that is the end of day... Whoops, I didn't do... That is the end of day 8. So now I'm going to do my... Bat! And I rolled a 1, so I do not get another token. Now I'm on to day number 9. Okay. So D6 gives me 4 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. My first card of the day is the 3 of clubs. There it is. Okay. You climbed a tree, and soon after, several wolves circled below. When you didn't climb down, a few of the wolves left and returned later, dragging a human body. Everything is fine. No, sorry, Matt. It's not squirrel destroyer of worlds. It's goose. Goose is destroyer of worlds. A few of the wolves left and returned later, dragging a human body. Exactly. You were forced to listen to a loud and violent feast. Before leaving, the animals looked at you with bloody maws and said in unison, "You are but prey to the cycle." Who do the wolves eat? How can you break free of the cycle? Pull from the tower. Well, the wolves... I think the wolves ate... Okay, so... There was this person in the village. And I wasn't particularly friends with them, but I also wasn't particularly not friends with them. You know, it was kind of like I would walk by and say, "Hey," and they would say, "Oh, hey." And that's kind of the... yeah, exactly. His name was Alan. How did you know? And so they ate this person, and the reason that it means something to me is because this person sort of represented like the innocence of humanity to me. They represented someone who I wasn't particularly vested in either way, but they were just kind of like Joe Schmo on the street. How can I break free of the cycle? How can I break free of the cycle? I think that at this point, I don't think that I can, at this point, I don't think I can break free of the cycle by just leaving. You know, because the force has its hooks in me. I think I have to see this through. So I have 6 out of 8 tokens, but if I pull from the tower 20 times, I think that's my only hope of breaking free from the cycle, is finally being able to master myself in the face of the forest. All right. Next card is the Jack of Clubs. All right. Here we go. Okay. You found a charred body hanging in a tree, and when the wind blew, black flakes fell towards you like snow. This person bore witness. Will you be next? Said a voice in the trees. You never found the source. When you wiped your face, your hands came back with gray residue. What secret weighs on you? What do you think the burned person witnessed? Black flakes are 100% better than frosted flakes. This harkens back to, remember at the beginning of this, I had a dream or a vision. I don't remember if it was a dream or a vision. And it was about my family being burning in the trees. And so, what secret weighs on you? The secret that weighs on me is I think that I've continued to keep this journal despite the fact that my family's moved away. They no longer are requiring me to keep the journal, but I still am. And it's sort of become a lifeline to me. It's sort of become, since I'm not 100% sure I want to completely be swallowed by the forest, I have to decide. And the journal is calling to me from the hubris of humanity. There, how's that? All right. My next card is the Four of Diamonds. Okay. So we go. All right. Here we go. Okay. You sometimes wear a mask made of tree bark. It slips on comfortably and protects you from the stray branches and insects. But today, the mask tugged you through the wilderness as if pulling at your flesh. Where did the mask lead you? How much skin does it pull off when you remove it? You may peek in the next five cards in the deck and rearrange them in whatever order you think favorable. Okay. So the first question is, where did the mask lead you? I feel like it led me to a little body of water where there are animals drinking. And it's weird because not all of the animals would be drinking at the same time and not scare each other off. That would be weird. So, but they're sort of all drinking, and actually they see me walk into the little clearing, and they look at me, and then they continue what they're doing. They don't run away from me. How much skin does it pull off when you remove it? I feel like it removes quite a bit of skin. Because I am becoming a creature of the forest. So for me to take it off, I have to remove a lot of what I am. But is your skin really what you are? I don't know. Okay, so it says look at the next 5 cards in the deck. It doesn't say. It does not say whether I should look at their descriptions. Look at what I'm supposed to do with them. So I think I can't. I think I have to do it like blind, sort of. And by blind, I just mean not knowing what they mean. So, there's the other Joker. I'm gonna put him way back, and hopefully not get him. Yeah. So I'm gonna put. So the next 5 cards in the deck are the Queen of Clubs, the 6 of Diamonds, the 3 of Hearts, the 3 of Spades, and the Joker. That's the order I'm going to put them in. Queen first, then 6, then 3, then 3, then Joker. All right. Now, so it's kind of a race now, because if I get the second Joker, here, let me read what happens. If I get the second Joker, you're lost. Turn to the Lost One ending on page 35. So I don't think there's any way for me to get enough tally marks, pulling from the tower at this point to go back to the world of the humans. So I can either become lost or I can become part of the forest. So I think I'd rather become part of the forest, because becoming lost is something that Mora fears. All right. And then the last one for today is the Six of Clubs. Okay, so let's look at the Six of Clubs. Okay, there it is. A well-hidden ground trap clamped around your ankle. Iron teeth digging into your flesh. Its mechanism proved too difficult to open on your own. But people nearby heard the trap and came for help. Did they take in your form with lust or disgust? How long do you linger in their company? I don't know. So, humans are icky. So I think they saw disgust. Ooh. Disgustful lust. Lusty disgust. Indeed, cooties. So I think they looked at me with disgust, and I wanted to spend longer in their company because I would like to try to make it out of the forest. But I wasn't able to because I'm not, because that's not me anymore. That's really okay. So, the end of the day. Big money, yes! I rolled a 5, so I get another token. One more and I become a creature of the forest. Okay, so now, day 10. Actually, that wraps up in a nice little package. Day 10. So, if I roll more than 5 or more, so 5 or 6, I'm going to be lost. If I roll less than 5 or 6, so I rolled a 1. So let me look at this card. It's the Queen of Clubs. Sorry, I had a brain fart. Alright, so the Queen of Clubs. You found a giant tree without leaves. Its massive roots spread out above ground, holding the hollow trunk aloft so it towered above you. The inside of the trunk was large enough to hold a bear, and a black scar marked the inside. Scorched symbols were carved into the exposed roots. Where have you seen these symbols before? Was this tree a coffin or a womb? I've seen these symbols on other trees as I walk through the forests. And I think this was a womb, because there's nothing in there right now. So I have to assume that whatever it was got out. Wait, sorry. Did I lose pages? No. I feel like I might have... Oh. All right, so I have 4 more. If I get 4, 5, or 6, I'm lost. So weird. Oh, I think I know what happened. Okay, here we go. Sorry. Lost track of place. If I get 4 more, I'm lost. And I got 6. Oh, this was for my token though. So, I've become a creature of the forest. So if you get all the tokens, okay, so the Ace of Hearts and the Tower stands. Oh, I have to do one more. Oh, but the Tower stands because I'm not at 20 yet. Okay. So, Ace of Hearts and Tower stands. Carved one. It's you, the one the gods have yearned for. You are a treasured believer of the old gods' magic. You stay in the woods until night falls when, finally, ancient darkness envelops you. Formless entities whisper in your ears, remove your clothes, thank you for your servitude. But there are no acolytes here. You're ripe and your soul nutritious, a treat to be swallowed by the old gods. Your devotion has made you more monster than human, but you couldn't be happier. The civilized world was no place for you. You look upon the gods before they harvest and eat you. What do you see when they finally take shape at your feet? Why is it horrible, yet beautiful? I see that pack of wolves. The ones that devoured Alan from the village. They've come to eat me. They're actually the gods. Why is it horrible yet beautiful? I think it's horrible yet beautiful because wolves are terrifying and gorgeous at the same time. They are beautiful and strong with long hair and woo. And you know, their amber eyes glint in the moonlight. But they are terrible because I can see their teeth and I can feel their breath on my skin. And it is wonderful because I know that I have become part of that which I love, the forest. But it is terrible because I'm being eaten. To be embraced by the forest is to be eaten by the forest. So, wonderful and, or terrible and beautiful at the same time. All right. And that is the end of Carved by the Garden by Cassie Mothwin, which you can find on DriveThruRPG. You can also find it on itch.io. There we go. And I thoroughly enjoyed that. I feel like I want to play it again. And Wait, I have to open the page. Here's this. Okay. All right. So I hope you enjoyed that because I certainly enjoyed it. And like I said, I'm going to be playing it again. There's not a print-on-demand version on drive-through right now, but I may be coming soon. We should all be like, hey, Cassie Mothwin, we want a physical version. So, tune in next time for another reel of the Lovecraft Tapes. So tonight, you saw Carp of the Garden, a solo folk horror RPG created by Cassie Mothwin. You can find it at drive-through, again, drivethroughrpg.com. And this felt like a really perfect way to celebrate Halloween, Samhain, all those good things. Anyway, it's my new year. And I hope you enjoyed it. So, until next time, roll for wolves. Okay, bye.